Welcome to the State of the Eagles. David Moulton along with FGCU Athletic Director Ken Kavanagh. We have a lot of ground to cover today. First, we have to go all the way back. We stopped. The fall season was just ending and the winter season had already begun. So let's go all the way back. Nearly won the Heisman Trophy of men's soccer did FGCU and Albert Ruiz.
Just an unbelievable accomplishment for a young man from Spain who probably didn't understand what the award even was until we got to St. Louis, and Coach Buthorn was there with us as we were making the transition in coaches. And just a tremendous evening for FGCU as an institution to be represented in a group with the other three finalists for the women's side were from USC and from West Virginia and from Stanford, and then it was Albert and then someone from Wake Forest and from the University of Maryland. So great company, and he, within reason, we understand he finished as the runner-up, and but leading the country in scoring at both goals and points. He had a phenomenal year, well deserved, and just unfortunately didn't win the award, but he was certainly a winner.
And he made the decision to come back and fulfill his final year of eligibility. You had to make a coaching change, however, after Coach Buthorn went to USF, and you hired somebody who I know your paths had crossed once upon a time, but he had a stellar career at Vermont.
Yeah, Jesse really will keep us going in the right direction, similar to our own program. Vermont last year made it to the second round, lost in a difficult game at Virginia in double overtime like we lost at North Carolina. Both of us, unfortunately, down a man in those overtime periods. So Jesse is someone I've known for almost 20 years now, and he's already hit the ground running literally with our team. Came in within 5 days of being named the coach. He was coaching our game against the Chicago Fire from the MLS, and we played very competitively, lost only 1-0, and all the interactions that he's had that I've heard from both the team and himself, we've really not lost much other than the fact that Bob left us in great shape after building the program, and he left it better than they found. We wish him well, except for when we play USF, and in turn, Jesse's very excited with his whole family to be in Southwest Florida.
Another stellar winter sports season for FGCU. We'll start with swimming, where it was a year of change/transition, but it looked as if it turned out fine.
Yeah, very similar to what we hope we'll experience next fall with men's soccer. When Coach Rollins came in from Ohio State, taking over for Coach Studd, who had been another founding coach of ours. Big shoes to fill in some ways, but also a lot of momentum to build with returning talent. And we went on and won our 8th championship of 9 years, 3rd straight. Went to the NCAAs and finished 41st in the country with Christine Koss-Elmgren finishing as an individual in 3 events there, got to compete, and then our relay team finished 15th in the country. And to put it into perspective, 11 scholarships is all we have, and you could have 14. We're still building toward that, but all these other power schools have 14, and we finished ahead of the likes of Alabama, Florida, who won a national championship within recent times, Duke and schools like that. So 41st in the country when you really understand where we're growing, and we finished as high as 26th a few years ago. Just another phenomenal year for the women's swimming and diving team.
Men's basketball program, 5th consecutive 20-win season, 3rd time in 5 years winning the ASUN championship, and Joe Dooley will be returning for year 5.
Yeah, and that's really great news. Just another element of building off of that wonderful Dunk City Sweet 16 season to continue to show others we are a growing entity and a program, not a one-hit wonder. And the opportunity to compete in Orlando was a great environment with a lot of our fans able to be there. Not nearly the restrictions we had getting to Philadelphia, and a lot more people in our ranks now than back then when they really didn't realize what they were watching. So we played very competitively against a team that was runner-up in the ACC in Florida State, and just had a tremendous size. But we just 1 or 2 more threes went down. Who knows how it would have gone? But certainly commended ourselves well. Winning another championship here in Alico Arena was a wonderful environment, and we hope to be able to build on it and hopefully make our 4th championship turn into the NCAAs next year with a very strong returning lineup.
And it was the first time that the men, when they were picked to win, they were the hunted all year, and they handled the pressure. And in fact, late in the season, they had a terrific run in the ASUN tournament. The women, meanwhile, 4th ASUN title in 6 years for Carl Semesco's crew. Lost a tough one in the tournament to another ACC team in Miami, but a year in which not everybody picked them to win, including yours truly. They won.
Yeah, as Carl said the other evening, and I wasn't there, but I understand, he raised his hand amongst others who really expected when we were 2-5 to start the season, and with all the losses that we had in terms of graduation from a year ago, that we really would be anything other than a WNIT team this year. And even at that point, hoping we would get that far. But he just has a way about it. We all understand how successful we've been with him taking new individuals and making them play his very different offense and proven successes against some very talented programs. And we get back with a very difficult chore of having to beat a strong Jacksonville team and then to win on the road at Stetson, who had won the regular season in that close last game against us. It really was a gratifying victory. Carl doesn't show much emotion. He kind of gave a fist pump after we won up in DeLand to win the conference tournament. And then we go to Miami and a team that has very much earned their opportunities and included beating Florida State in the ACC tournament, and then they get an initially unexpected hosting. So we get a chance to go over across the alley, and we're down early and obviously came back. A very difficult calls at the end of the game that unfortunately didn't go our way, but just a superior result from a team that nobody expected much from.
Well, a couple of things there. First off, not just a fist pump. He was caught on tape dancing.
Yeah.
All right, a few minutes after the win against Stetson to win the ASUN title. And because the women played in Miami, I think there were as many FGCU fans as there were Canes fans.
Yeah, and that was pretty much the case. I want to say my first year here in 09-10 was when we went there in the WNIT, and we actually, I think, had more fans than them. So, it just, and our fans are phenomenal. That was a lot of that core group was the same ones that had been up in Orlando just 2 days prior when we played FSU. So, we were blessed that we got to play 2 NCAA games within a drive of our campus, and our students were able to go and bring in buses and so forth, and the band and cheerleaders. So it just really was fun, and again, the outcomes weren't what we desired. And that's, I think, a fun piece of being here, that our coaches and our student athletes don't expect when they go to the tournament just going to enjoy the atmosphere. They want to win, and we don't always win, but the competitive nature of our program certainly is shown very well in these tournaments amongst others.
And once again, the off season, always eventful around here. Dodged another one. Coach Semesco coming back for year 16.
Again, we're 2 for 2 this year again on that, and it just comes down to we're very blessed when that occurs. Coach Enfield left to go to USC, and we talked about Coach Butehorn and Coach Studd, and we've had others that have and will, and that's just part of life. Whether it's administrator, coach, faculty member, changes occur. If the right opportunity is there for someone, we wish them well. If they've earned that by making us better than we were when they got here, then it's a win-win. And resources at some of these other schools are something we right now can't come anywhere to compete to. Maybe someday we will. We do feel blessed that some of them have turned opportunities down where it isn't about the last dollar, but we're so far so good.
To the spring season we go, where the FGCU baseball team was picked 4th by not just the media. You can't blame the media for this. The coaches weren't singing your guys' praises either. And then next thing you know, you started the year 24-3 and were ranked 9th in the country at one point. So they showed them.
Yeah, it's so hard when you lose players early to the draft, and you get new players coming in, and Coach Tillett and Rusty and the rest of the coaching staff has just done a wonderful job replacing and replenishing areas where I think we have 5 or 6 of our junior college transfers are really making tremendous impacts. Cutter Crawford is one of the best pitchers in the country right now, and you look at other pieces of the team this year. Julio Gonzalez at shortstop, both in the field and at bat, is our leading hitter right now. Anybody knew about them when they were doing the predictions. But then you have other players that have stepped up or come back from injury. Mario Leone was someone who was dealing with an arm injury, is now our midweek pitcher who's been pitching significantly, beat Miami with a shutout, and in a position where the FSUs, the Miamis, the Florida games that we've had real good success. I think we're 5-2 against them right now at this point after beating Miami last night over there, and the first time we've ever won a series from them. You have to have good pitchers in the middle of the week. game. It can't just be on the weekend. So we're looking forward. We've had a very difficult stretch over the last week and a half, 2 weeks, a lot of one-run losses after we had that great start. We're still nationally ranked, and we hope by the time we get to the end of the season, it's not just a matter of having to win the ASUN tournament to go to the NCAA, but that we've done enough and have a pretty good resume to get an at-large, and or if we do win the conference tournament, we have a better seeding on top.
Softball team, very difficult schedule this year. A team picked to finish second in the conference. Their regular season wrapping up. I know a very formidable schedule. They have some outstanding individual talent.
Yeah, we went to Mexico, had a big win early on against Fresno State, who was ranked 21st. And as you said, all the teams that come down there, we play some really good programs. And in turn, we're still very young. We're in a position right now where we started off the conference season with some of the best teams, including Upstate, who's been the dominating team in the conference. And so we've got a few weekends left, and hopefully we'll create positioning in the conference tournament, double elimination tournament, and we can, after winning the season last year and finishing as runner-up in the conference tournament to Upstate, we can go up to Lipscomb and have a great weekend and get back to the NCAAs.
Secondary sports don't often get a lot of attention, but the golf and the tennis programs on both sides have had some significant wins this year, and tennis is hosting the ASUN Championships in what's it, the 22nd and 23rd?
Yeah. We have a big match this weekend for the women on Saturday against UNF. Both of us are undefeated. The winner of that match will win the regular season, which, if we win, would be our first regular season championship for the women. The men have won the last two regular seasons for the men. They'll finish in fourth place going into next week. But we hope to use the home court advantage and have one, if not both, have a chance to get to the NCAAs. And for the women, as I stated, they've never won a regular season, but they've never been to the NCAAs. The guys went 2 years ago when we played at UCLA, and they've dealt with a lot of injuries this year. Andy Alfonso, who was our number one player, has had a finger problem. He's had to play as low as 4, and even then he's playing a lot of pain. We've had a couple other injuries. That our lineup has not been what we coach had hoped for. He really thought at the beginning of the year this was potentially our best team from top to bottom. So hopefully they'll regroup with the home court advantage, and the women, Coach Vernon just continues to do a wonderful job building the program to the point that we're now competing for that championship come Saturday.
Both golf programs have had terrific individual and also some team accomplishments and performances this year, which are some of the best that I've seen in the program's history.
Yeah, last year the women were runner-up to UNF, and we hope that we have a chance to go one peg higher and get to the NCAAs for the first time. And then for the guys, it's just such an overall tough league with UNF and Kennesaw, nationally ranked teams that we've had. Lipscomb has potentially the best amateur college player in the country. So we'll have a formidable scenario when both those teams go up to Georgia in 2 weeks to compete for the ASUN championship. We've had 2 individual winners in recent weeks. Grant Reniger just won a really good tournament up at East Carolina 2 weeks ago, and Casper Howell, one of our seniors, won 2 weeks prior. So if those 2 guys play really well and we get a couple guys behind them, we have the talent to win, but it's certainly going to be a tough situation.
And I know Stetson is the class in beach volleyball, but that program seems to be really coming on, and that really is the little engine that could program in terms of resources.
Yeah, we added the program 5 years ago, and we did it understanding that we didn't have any scholarship money. We're still trying to grow the other programs, and we felt that it would be an opportunity to give the indoor players a chance to play another sport that they love and not hurt their legs. Playing in the sand is a lot better for their joints than being on a hard surface. So it's a combination now of indoor full-year players as well as some young ladies who just played the beach. And we've got 13 wins, which is a program record. We've had a second year in a row we've beaten UAB, a fully funded program. Last year we beat South Carolina. Both Coach Botsford, who coaches the indoor and the outdoor team, with help from Chris Sweat, have really generated some enthusiasm for the team. And we're 13-6, I believe, at this point, going into one more match, and then we have the conference. So to do that with no scholarships, we look to build, and if people are out there, they'd like to give a scholarship toward beach, we can move it even further. But it's a fun program to watch. Certainly with Brooke Youngquist Sweat representing us in the Olympics, it's a program that we've gotten national and some, I would say, international notoriety, and we hope that we can continue to produce future quality players like Brooke.
And so as the spring seasons come to an end, the only thing left to be determined is the overall ASUN Sports Championship once again, and as of this moment, FGCU's in first.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride. Some pro schools just have 1 or 2 good teams. We try to take not only a lot of success across the board and winning championships and going to the NCAAs and a lot of different teams, which we've done this year already with the 2 soccers, the 2 basketballs, and we hopefully more, plus the swimming results. But there's teams that are still growing and aren't at full scholarships, and then when the cross-country teams finish 3rd instead of 4th or 5th, that helps us win either the overall trophy, which we've won the last 3 years, or the women's trophy, which we've won the last 3 years, or the men's trophy, which we won 3 years ago when we won all 3 of them and then finished 2nd the last 2 years. It makes people feel like they're part of a team unit, and we talk about that in our monthly coaches meetings, where the standings are and how we can help, and that the teams that don't win the regular season championship still understand that finishing one step higher than maybe they could have motivationally is good for the department, and it's good for us to showcase to recruits that we care about more than one program, which we certainly do.
If you have any questions for Ken Kavanagh, you can send an email to the site that is on the screen. Questions, comments, concerns, we will address them, and he will read them. That I can guarantee you. Good to see you.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it. Look forward. And again, folks, we really look forward to any feedback you can give us as we try to continue to grow opportunities to give more exposure to our programs, or if there's interest in terms of behind-the-scenes elements that we can maybe show. Maybe we'll get into this next opportunity that maybe we do some different things other than just you and I talking, and Monica doing a wonderful job behind the scenes for us. But we really appreciate it. God bless, and go Eagles.
And that is the state of the Eagles late in the spring season. Thanks for watching.